What is up, my friends? Welcome to my breakdown of the new Historic Anthology 6 on MTG Arena. My name is Jim Davis. I'm a full-time professional Magic the Gathering player and content creator, and today I'm here to guide you through all 20 cards available in this new release, as well as take a look at the decks these cards are going to power up. Now, Historic's one of my favorite formats in MTG Arena, and these anthologies allow for an exciting injection of classic cards into the format. The best part is we get to see these, well, historical cards in a whole new light. How does Death Shadow do without Street Wraith? Or how does Knight of the Reliquary look without Fetch Lands? It's also a place to interject classic nostalgia cards like Mirari's Wake or Forexian Arena into a format where they can play alongside more modern Magic designs. So, let's take a look. Where better to start than the legendary Tarmogoyf? First printed back in Future Sight, Tarmogoyf has seen play in virtually every format and is considered one of the best creatures of all time. But Jim, it doesn't do anything. Well, you're right. It doesn't have any special abilities, draw cards, kill anything, have some crazy combo. But Tarmogoyf has one very important keyword: big. In mid-range decks that are looking to maximize rate, that is of course the relative size of a creature compared to its mana cost. Tarmogoyf is a roadblock defensively early in the game, as well as a huge threat in the mid and late game that can help close things out quickly. And while it does help to play a variety of card types to help grow your Tarmogoyf to huge sizes, often just playing Magic normally will result in a 4/5 Tarmogoyf that's a wonderful deal for 2 mana. Getting to see Tarmogoyf in a brand new format is what these anthologies are all about. Now, the great thing about these anthologies is they have something for everyone, and our next card is a commander favorite, Avacyn, Angel of Hope. Avacyn could certainly end up as a reanimation target, some sort of historic reanimator deck, as a way to play up both offense and defense and be hard to remove, but her real home will likely be as an all-star in Historic Brawl, the Magic Arena format that's essentially one-on-one commander. Whether it's your commander or it's a huge card to draw to, Avacyn of Angel of Hope can dominate the late game. Up next is Forexian Metamorph, a twisted take on the original clone. Forexian mana, that's mana you can pay by paying the color or paying 2 life. It's one of the most broken mechanics the game has ever seen, allowing you to cast Forexian Metamorph for only 3 mana and 2 life in any color, copying any creature or artifact on the battlefield. Always a popular card in cubes, Forexian Metamorph is a great tool for your deck if you're looking to double up on things or put your opponent's cards to work against them. A longtime favorite cube and commander card, Aphenomancer has never really gotten a fair shake and constructed, as it's only ever been legal in Legacy and Vintage, two of Magic's most powerful formats. And that's a shame, because Aphenomancer is a sweet card. Aside from the obvious of just putting a Death Touch blocker into play, Aphenomancer is also an awesome way to produce sacrifice fodder every turn cycle for everything from Deadly Dispute to Ravenous Squirrel, and could be an excellent tool for sacrifice decks. Target player mills 10 cards. Glimpse the Unthinkable is one of the most classic mill cards of all time. Simple in execution of dumping a large part of a player's library into their graveyard. You're playing a mill deck, Glimpse the Unthinkable is probably one of your go-to cards, but don't forget, you can target yourself as well. For decks looking to abuse the graveyard with cards like Creeping Chill or Silver Smoke Ghoul, Glimpse the Unthinkable ends up being an amazing enabler. With the original Shrine cycle from Champions of Kamigawa in Historic Anthology 3, as well as the cycles from Core Set 2021 and the recent Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, casual commander favorite, Ghost Shintai of Life's Origin has a lot of friends to work with. Whether it's an Historic Brawl, or for the brave folks who want to try it in Historic proper, Ghost Shintai of Life's Origin should be a lot of fun. In a huge surprise, one of the most famous prison cards of all time is coming to MTG Arena. Chalice of the Void is a hugely important card in Magic's most powerful formats because of how much of those formats rely on 0 and 1 mana cards. Chalice of the Void can be played with X equal to 0 to counter 0 mana spells, but perhaps most importantly can be cast for 2 mana with X equal to 1 to counter all 1 mana spells. This can lock out huge portions of your opponent's deck. Historic doesn't have the fast mana yet like Ancient Tomb or Simian Spirit Guide to cast Chalice of the Void on turn 1, but it's still a very powerful effect that all deck builders must take into account going forward. A perhaps less well-known prison-style card is the legendary enchantment Knight of Soul's Betrayal, which acts to shrink every creature on both sides of the battlefield. This can be backbreaking against tribal decks like elves or goblins, and allows you to break the symmetry by not playing creatures yourself or only playing large creatures. While Lelia, the Blade Reforge, is another commander product card, she's cut from a different cloth. Lelia is going to be the sleeper hit of this anthology, as because she's only ever been legal in Legacy, Commander, and Cube, most Magic players don't recognize how good she really is. Well, I'll tell you, Lelia is a really powerful Magic card. She is easy to cast, gets on the board quickly, scales as the game goes on, draws cards, and for only 3 mana. And that's to say nothing about how well she synergizes with cards like Chandra Torch of Defiance or Scavenging Ooze. Whether it's for aggressive red decks or mid-range decks, Lelia is likely to go down as perhaps the most impactful card in this entire anthology. One last Commander product card to round things out is the amusing but powerful Retrofitter Foundry, which is a token-making mana sink that can churn out bigger and better tokens as time goes on. However, don't forget, you can skip the line by playing cards like Ornithopter or cards that make Thopter tokens, letting you cash them in immediately for 4/4 Construct tokens. And then we come to the last 10 cards of the anthology, which are a common cycle of dual lands. Normally that wouldn't be very exciting, but when it's the common cycle of dual lands from Modern Horizons 2, one of the most powerful sets of all time, you should probably take notice. The original 5 artifact lands are banned in Modern, and with good reason. Artifacts are a very powerful card type that promotes all sorts of synergies, and getting those synergies from a land is extremely useful. While these new lands do enter the battlefield tapped, they still provide all the bonuses of the power-up cards like Thought Monitor, Nettle Cyst, Deadly Dispute, Toolcraft Exemplar, Thirst for Knowledge, the list goes on and on. Furthermore, being indestructible helps to mitigate the downside of having your lands blown up too easily by artifact hate. They may look innocent, but the 10 artifact lands from Historic Anthology 6 may end up being the most impactful part of the release when all is said and done. And do you know what the best part is? While we're all done going over the cards in this Historic Anthology, the simultaneously released Explorer Anthology also brings 20 more cards to the Historic format too. Luca is going to do the breakdown on that one, so make sure to check out his video right here on the main Magic channel as well. Now you've seen all the cards, let's look at 3 new decks they might go in. First up is a classic from days of Modern's past, Abzan Midrange. That's right, not only is Tarmogoyf getting in on the fun in Historic, we also get to welcome the classic Siege Rhino and one of my personal favorites in Tireless Tracker from the Explorer Anthology as well. Add this together with the great black 1-drop trio of Thoughtseize, Inquisition of Kozilek, and Fatal Push, as well as a smattering of great removal spells and Planeswalkers, and you've got a fantastic looking mid-range deck that can be tuned to beat any metagame. Now listen, they say running with scissors is dangerous, and they're right. Our next deck is a blue-white based Ensoul Artifact Affinity deck, looking to take advantage of all the great artifact cards in both anthologies. Ensoul Artifact joins Nettle Cyst and Michiko's Reign of Truth as big aggressive payoffs for playing tons of cheap artifacts. And when you add artifact lands like Razortide Bridge and Darksteel Citadel, alongside cheap threats like Vault Scourge and Esper Sentinel, you hit critical mass very quickly. And when you top out on cards like Thought Monitor and Karn, Scion of Urza, you can even hang in the late game with the more removal-heavy decks. If synergy's your style, this might be the deck for you. And when all else fails, light 'em up. Our last deck of the day is as classic as they come, Mono Red Burn. However, this ain't your grandma's burn deck. Lelia is the highlight here, providing damage and cards at a great rate. But what's awesome is how much synergy she has with the rest of the deck. Cards like Chandra Dressed to Kill, Electrostatic Blast, and Grim Lavamancer all exile cards from your graveyard or library, growing Lelia at an alarming rate. Newcomer Searing Blood joins digital-only all-stars like Static Discharge and Electrostatic Blast for a deck that's in endgames in a blaze of glory. Historic Anthology 6 has a little something for everyone. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to start brewing. You can pick up the entire anthology as well as the Explorer Anthology in the MTG Arena store today. Happy brewing, and I'll see you on the ladder.